Hello, I've just realised I don't have much time today, so I'm doing this on a webcam, and it's also a bit on a whim. I know I got snowed under with ideas, and I didn't. This is not one of those ideas, basically. I wanted to talk about the way that the world system, and I'm going to be a wuss here and not actually say what kind of system I'm talking about, but I'm talking about the economic and political system of the world, whatever you choose to call that, um, works to the disadvantage of all. Now, there was a news story just now about a toddler who died because they fell out of a window and there was no ambulance available for them. Now, if you think in terms of a world in which there are a lot of rich people who need ambulances, those people are not going to get ambulances either if there's not enough cash around to pay for ambulances or not enough volunteers to run ambulances, or however you want to run the system. And similarly, if you have an ambulance which depends for its maintenance on fuel which is not available, or on a series of components or systems which are the intellectual property of a particular individual, or that are in some way paid for by the state or a large organization which can take that money away and therefore has power over, then that is going to be a problem for everyone. And it's going to be a problem for rich people and poor people alike. So the situation that people imagine exists, that the rich people are the ones with the power and the poor people are the ones without the power, is in a sense true. But in another sense, you wouldn't want to be in the rich people's situation and you wouldn't want to be in the so-called powerful people's situation. Power always flees from your own situation. You always feel that your hands are tied in the same way as you always feel you haven't got quite enough money and just a little bit more would just be enough. And the situation is therefore that somebody who is, for example, Prime Minister may appear to have a lot of power, but actually their hands are tied by lobbyists, by the next election, and so forth. And that applies whatever party you're in, it doesn't really matter. Um, and oh, sorry, I'm having to blah, blah, blah. And the yes, and another situation is that happiness, true happiness, is only achievable without material things, which doesn't mean you don't need material things, but it means that if you have material things and you have ended up devoting your life to the acquisition of material things, perhaps through fear of poverty or homelessness or illness or love and the desire to give your children a good chance in life, for example, by paying for expensive education, that means that you don't achieve true happiness. So these people who are wealthy are not necessarily happy. And in that sense, even if they get everything they need physically, it can still work to their disadvantage. So what am I saying? I suppose what I'm saying is that the system works to the disadvantage of all, and it will eventually screw us all, and then we'll be in big trouble. And if you think that it's about greed, envy, and selfishness, it isn't. It's more about how do you persuade people who believe or appear to believe that they have more power, wealth, happiness, that actually they don't have any power. The wealth that they have is merely earthly treasures, and the happiness is very shallow. And therefore, that a system which exploits nobody would help everybody, because that would appeal to them, because it would be to their advantage. Now, that system, I'm not going to give it a name because I think that it's very easy to get bogged down and say it's monopoly capitalism that's the problem, or that it's statism that's the problem, or a lack of a state that's a problem. I don't believe in the state, and I think that there's a lot of rhetoric used to persuade people that a particular system is, for example, communist. And I'm not going to talk about left or right wing stuff or anything like that. But what I am going to say is that that's what we need to do. We need to persuade people that the system that we have, whatever it is a problem for everyone, not just a problem for poor people, although it is a more acute problem for poor people. So if you like this video, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll see you tomorrow.